Well, hello again, FlossTube. Can you believe it? It's me again, and it's only been like a month or something since I did it last FlossTube. So this is FlossTube, episode number 20, and today's date is December 5th, 2024, and I'm going to show you my Christmas stitching. Everything I'm going to show you is stuff that needs to be finished, framed or made into pillows or anything like that. But you know, a lot of this I've shown you before, some of it I haven't, and I'd like to show you for two reasons, because I enjoy doing FlossTube, and I enjoy sharing my stitching and hearing your comments and all of that fun stuff. But also I wanted to make myself accountable. Last year, I wanted to finish a lot of these things into pillows and things like that that I had finished stitching, and because, you know, we were looking for a house, building, all that kind of stuff, I just did not finish them for Christmas. And so I've got a whole pile of stuff that needs to be finished. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll get on here, show you what needs to be finished and what, you know, ideas and what I'm going to do. And then as soon as I get them finished, hopefully in, you know, 10 days or so, a couple weeks, then I can show you everything I'll finish that I just showed you. So that's my plan. And so the first one is this stitch that I finished. I know I've shown you this stitch before, but I did not show it finished. And I was able to finish this last year. And this is by Samplers Not Forgotten. And it's called Peace on Earth. And I stitched it on 36 count linen winter woolens by Seraphim, however you want to say it, but I love her linens. And I use the Call For Weeks Dye Works over dyed floss. So this is what the chart looks like. And here's the stitch. Hopefully that won't go blurry if I'm bringing it a little bit closer. I loved this. I love stitching it with, you know, there's just not a lot of different colors in theirs, and I love how they play with each other. And then here is the frame that I just picked up from Hobby Lobby, and so I'll be framing it in that. And by the way, speaking of framing, thank you so much for all of your kind comments on my framing video. That was really fun to do, and just, you know, turn on the camera while I was framing my things. And so it's just really empowering to be able to, you know, finish your project, finish your stitch, go order a frame, and be able to just do it yourself. So I'm really enjoying that. And so let me put this one out here. I've got two to frame. This one is Baby It's Cold Outside, which I've shown you before many times. I stitched this on 36 count Hazelwood by Fiber on a Whim. And I used a conversion just from my stash. I just grabbed Christmas colors and did it. But for this frame, because of the snow and because I really want that to show up, which is why I use this dark of a linen, I thought it would be so fun to use a light frame. So isn't that going to be fun framed in there? So I've got that ready to go. Let me put that on design board so I can show you a little bit closer. So there's that one. So I know how I'm finishing those. I'm just simply going to frame them. And I pretty much know what I'm going to do with most of these things. There may be a few that I don't know. Sorry if my voice is kind of wandering away. I'm going all around my room grabbing my stacks that I've got to bring them in. And so I've got a whole stack here of things that need to be finished into pillows and things like that. So this tells me that these have to do with snowmen, because this is my Quilty Barn snowman bag. And so I showed you, I can't remember if I showed this to you on Instagram finished or on FlossTube, but because I went a whole year without doing a FlossTube, I don't know, I can't remember. But this is Whitaker by Stacy Nash. And so I need to finish him into his, you know, sew around him. And I still need to stitch this little tree too, but I've got plenty of linen. See, I just cut it like that. So I'll stitch that little tree. that he can hold, and I'll get him finished up and find a little piece of wool or fabric or something for his scarf, and I think that'll be fun. So that's my snowman. And then I am not sure if I showed you this one or not. This is Winterberries and Pine by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. And let me take this off, bring that up closer. I just love that little house in the snowman basket. And so let's see, where's my library card? I thought I had everything for that. Did I just have my library card here? I guess not. Thought I had one, but I'm sure, let me look real quick on the back. I stitched this on 36 count Weeks Dye Works Aspen. I loved the green color in that. And let's see, that was not the called for. The called for was mushroom, but I had this in my stash and I thought it looked great. And so that's what I stitched it with. And it looks to me like I think that I used all of the called for flosses. I don't see any changes on the back that I usually do. And so there's my snowman stitching for this year. That doesn't mean that I may not pick up another snowman, but I don't know. I've got a lot of things kitted and ready to go, but I do have things in my bag. Oh, I've shown you that before. I'd love to do that one next. The Miss Snow Fairy, also by Brenda. I've got this Teresa Kogut one. Wouldn't that be cute? I've had this one for a long time, and I really need to just get that stitched. And this is another snowman by Brenda. Let's see, what else have I got in here? Let me pull this out and see which ones. Oh, yes. I still want to do this one, this Twin Peaks snowman right here. I just think he's so fun with his long coat. So I'll just keep these in here until I get these kitted up. But at the end of this video, I mean, you know, I have a lot of kits that I have kitted up of Christmas stuff that I'm going to show you. So I don't know if I will get to kitting a snowman this year or not, but maybe in January. A lot of times I like to stitch a snowman in January. So, all right, so there's my snowman. And, oh, I forgot to tell you, the one by Brenda, I'm going to put that into a pillow, I think, or I may put it on a vintage book. So I've got these vintage books. Here, let me pull this back in here. I always have vintage books because I love them. But I did just pull in a few to show you that, you know, I gather vintage books with a really good sale, you know, in the Christmas colors. But look how cute. It could go this way on a vintage book instead of, you know, long ways. And that's a good color for it too. So I don't know. And then when you display them, you know, you just put it like that. And it's kind of like its own easel. But this one, both of these right here are vintage songbooks. So that would be really fun. And Christmassy. Music is always Christmas. So I may put this cutie on a book instead of a pillow. All right, back to that. Let's see, back to my pile. I've got random things. This one I know I've shown you before. This one's definitely going to go into a little pillow, little pin keep, whatever you want to call it. This is the Christmas Fruit Basket by Threadwork Primitives. I stitched this on 36 count baked clay, and I used my Quilty Barn DMC thread pack, which when I get to the barn and the thread pack, I've stitched other things from that. But that's the set I told you about that I always keep together since I did my Quilty Barn, because I can stitch any Christmas, you know, really small, simple Christmas projects with those colors. And so that's what I did with this. And I think that's going to make a really fun little pillow. So I've got that. And next up, I've got a couple things on this board. I know I've shown you this before. This is on 40 count Vintage Fawn by Lakeside Linen. And I used NPI needlepoint silk with this in leaf green, number 255. And this is going to be a really cute little pillow. I'm going to be doing a little bowl full of green samplers for Christmas. Just small, you know, trees kind of seem to be the theme, but they don't always have to be trees. I've got several trees in my bag that I want to do, but I haven't got this started yet, but I think I'm going to start this tonight actually, because this is by Teresa from Shakespeare's Peddler, and I just think this would be such a cute, this little Noel tuffet. I think that would be darling in a green sampler. So I may even just stitch it on this fabric. I've got a ton of leftover fabric, so maybe it wouldn't be different. I like that it's just small, meaning if I did it on a different linen, then it might look a little bit different in the bowl. I kind of like to use a variety of linens and not the same exact linens when they're going in the same bowl. I don't know, maybe that's strange, but I'm kind of particular like that. And I don't know, this would be a fast stitch. I could probably even stitch it in a couple of days if I got it started. So I think I'm going to push and get my green sampler for this year done, even though that's just kind of tiny right there. But this is by Kathy Barrick, and it's called the Companion Quaker Christmas Tree Sampler. And this is what the chart looks like. And I think it would be amazing stitched like this on a green linen with cream colored on, you know, in opposite like that. Okay, so that's what I got going on there. So hopefully I'll have that one by Shakespeare Peddlers done next time in my finish too, and have it finished into a little pillow. Okay, so this one is Christmas Joy. This is the thread pack that I did with it. This is just DMC colors that I pulled together for this, and then I've used this for several other Christmas things because look at those beautiful colors together. And this is by Lori Rippey from Homespun Primitives, and I love this. Homespun Prims by Lori, not Primitives. And that's definitely going to be a pillow. I love that. I don't know, I shouldn't say definitely. I'm just looking at the stack of books here going, what about this green book? I love the idea of books, and I've done, you know, I've finished cross stitches on books several times, and I've showed you that before. But look at that one. I'm just looking at that going, that is the perfect size. But I love that they can just be either displayed if it's a tall like that or like that, and it just becomes an automatic backdrop and an easel. So I may do that. In fact, I think I'll leave that with that so I don't forget. But I think that looks great. I think that's perfect. That's a perfect book size. Okay, so there's that one. Making some decisions already so I can just get going. Don't you find that once you know what you're doing, you know, then you can go ahead and get started and it becomes much easier. It's the deciding part that's hard. For me anyway. Okay, here's that thread pack that I was telling you about that I did with my Quilty Barn. All of these DMCs. That last one I showed you was DMCs, but I like to keep all of my Christmas stitches that I've finished, all of the threads together, because I've taken the time to pull them and curate them, and I like how they look together. And so I have one bag and basket that I keep all of this stuff together in, and so that when I go to pull out Christmas, I have threads pulled together already that are curated. And I really like that, and I can just pull from all of them. Sometimes I don't just use one. I'll use, you know, a few greens from this one, and there may be a few different greens, you know, from this last one that are deeper that I needed or something. So I'll pull from that. But I like the freedom of just being able to have those thread packs. And so this is my Santa bag. And so this must be Santa projects, right? Yes, and I've got quite a few of these. So let me set these over here. Okay, so this is the Santa, the Prairie Schooler Santa that I did this year, and it's the 2019 Santa. I stitched this last month. I stitched it on 36 count Cocoa by Weeks Dye Works, and these are all going to be pillows. And so that's this year's, and I just, you know, used that thread pack right there just to pull whatever colors I might need. And then this one, this was last year's that I did last year. And he is the 2016 Prairie Schooler Santa. And this one is on 36 count baked clay by Fox and Rabbit. And let's see, this one is the one I did in 2022, but see, obviously I need to get these finished. And this one is the Prairie Schooler 2006 Santa. And this one is stitched on 36 count light drab by XU Designs. And of course, that's the little sewing machine one. And let's see, now we've got this one, which was 2021. And this is the 1999 Prairie Schooler Santa with the gingerbread. And so, as I said before, I'm stitching these on different linens, just scraps of linens. Like, I'll probably just take this part off and put it in a bin. I have a basket of just small leftover linens, and I label it before. That's why my library card, that's another reason that helps me when I cut this off of this and it's away from this, so I don't have no way of knowing what it was, then I'll just go ahead and relabel it and put it in a bag. And then this is perfect for smalls. I mean, I could even use this one for the little green sampler by Shakespeare's Peddler that I just talked to you about. So I may do that. But look how fun those look. Again, I've stitched a whole bunch of Prairie Schooler Santas over the years, but my oldest son, Ben, has them now for his tree, and so I'm starting all over. These I'm just going to put into simple pillows and with fabric on the back and put into a basket and just do one every year. And so, and I'm always going to be using 347 red for the coat so that they have that in common. Let me set that aside. I've still got some other stuff going on. Now, I stitched some more Santas a while ago. This one is, here, let me pull these out. These are by Lori at Not Forgotten Farms. And this one is Little Nick, right here. Okay. And then this one is Cookie Claus. Let me pull those up a little bit closer so you can see. And I just used threads for my stash on this. And the linen on this is 36 count cow fodder that I got from Jen at Jen's Stitching Niche. Whoops, turned upside down for that. Hope I'm not making you seasick by moving these around, but that was really fun. These will definitely be little tiny pillows. And then this one is stitched on 36 count Legacy by Picture This Plus, and this is also Not Forgotten Farm, and this is Cinder Claus. Okay. And I just stitched all three of these at the same time last month, right after I finished my fall stitching. I picked these up and got these stitched, and those were a really fun stitch, and they're going to be fun in a little bowl. And so let me look in my bag and see what I've got as far as Santas go. Oh, I need to move this. I've got several other Prairie Schoolers in there, you know, just so that I can pick and choose. I've got this one from Teresa Kogut, which I love. This other one from Prairie Schooler, and then I've got this is kitted, and I've got some other Christmas things kitted, so I need to move that I'm going to show you. So I'm going to move this into my kit, into my little kitted little vintage suitcase that I've got. That's where I have everything. And so those are my Santas. Those will be pillows. Okay, what have I got going on here? Okay, this is in my, this one lives in my bag. That is my new Christmas fabric collection. It's called Hometown Holidays, and I've got Cassidy's keychain and my little chapel charm here on the bag. And what this is my my sampler, my Hometown Holiday sampler. So let me take a chart out of here. So here's the chart, and let's see here. I did something different with this. Oh, I've got these in the back. I used silks, so I didn't use these, but here's my little mittens, my new little mittens that are fun for little Floss drops. And these are my cozy mittens floss drops. These are fun for winter stuff, and I've been using these. Just happen to have a new package in this bag. Let's see what else do I have in here. Oh, I have to show you this. This is my scissor minder. And so what I do, you know, this can hold needles, of course, too, but it's large. I make them large on purpose and then put the magnet on the back because these are my bitty boards, my design boards, and the magnet holds them on there. And then this just holds my little snippets. They fit in the bag. These are my little snippets of thread. I can put things on there, put my scissors on there, and they don't fall on the floor, my needles, everything. So that's fun. And that matches my quilt that I made. I've got my needles that I showed you in my last video in that. But let me tell you about this. So this is the sample right here that's on the cover, okay? And this was stitched with DMCs, and it was stitched on 25 count parchment, Lugana, which, you know, I have a line of Lugana that I do that's 25 count, and that's what the sample was stitched on, okay, and framed. And that's been living over with It's So Emma with Kimberly over there. That's who published my cross stitch patterns for me. But I wanted to do something when Kimberly came. I wanted to, she was stitching as well, and I wanted to show you how different it is, how easy it is to just grab a different color of linen from your stash. It doesn't matter. It's light colored. This has a little bit more green tint to it, and I like that. And I just grabbed NPI silks, and here's the conversion for that. You know, you could easily take a screenshot. And so this is 36 count cream and sugar by Fiber on a Whim. And then I keep my silks on my little floss flowers. I like to wind them on there and keep them on there. And this was really fun. When Kimberly came for a visit, maybe I'll do a little slideshow in here or something, but I did all of the in-between lines, and then I did it one row at a time. And it stitched up really fast. And I took a picture of each row after I finished it. So with the intention of making a little slideshow, which I never did. So maybe I'll do that now for this video. But isn't it fun to see? Let me slide this over a little bit. See the difference in sizes? I think that's fun. Now, because this is smaller, I wanted to do it smaller, and I wanted to make it into a little pillow or finish it on a book. You know, something like that. I don't want to finish everything on a book, maybe 3 things. But, kind of speaking of books, I had bought this. I can't remember, actually, I've had it for quite a while. I can't remember if I got it at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. Let me look. See if it says. It doesn't, I think I got it at Michael's because it doesn't have like the typical Hobby Lobby sticker, and it's kind of scratched here, and I got it for very inexpensive, but it is a wooden box or a book. You know, you can make it look like a book or a wooden box, but I thought, you know, I love the unfinished because I can easily paint anything. Put fabric in here and line it with fabric and paint it and make it really cute. But this might be really fun finished on this. It's the right width. It's just a little bit short, like I have this much left. So I could just put lace on the bottom, or I could actually take this alphabet and write my initials and maybe the year that I stitched it, just to elongate it by 1 more. So, you know, maybe I can do that and just kind of finish that on the bottom. But that might be kind of fun to make a little Christmas stitchy box out of that. So we'll see if that's what happens with that one when I get to that point. But let me put this back on here so I keep everything together. But that's an idea on that one. It's going to be interesting to see what if I actually finish everything exactly how I tell you I'm going to finish it. You never know when you're going to do those things, right? Okay, so here's my cozy Christmas fabric bag made for me by my awesome friend Christy, Crosshatch Quilts, the original patchwork bag maker. I love her bags. And let's see. So these I added to my Pineberry Lane. So in here lives Pineberry Lane patterns and charts. And let's see, I added to them. Let me take these all off so that you can see. So I've shown you this before. Right here, this is Merry and Bright. And I stitched Merry and Bright on 36 count Winter's Brew by R&R. And this is another DMC floss pack that I have. Okay, and I just keep this one actually in this bag for the Pineberry Lane stuff. And there's several little patterns that I want to do with that. So I did that one. I've already shown you this one. This is Sprig of Holly right here. And I stitched that on 36 count antique lace and by number 12 Stitch Company. And again, stitched that with the floss and love that one. And then this year, a while ago, I added these with this pattern. Okay, Merry Little Stitches, and I just did these two so far. I might end up doing this one, I don't know, but I'm just trying to do these little girls. Like, these are like decorating, this first one I did was like decorating the tree. She's got her tree. These are the little angels. She's doing her tree. To me, these are just like decorating for Christmas. And so what I did on these two, they're going to be two separate pillows. All of these are going to be pillows and go in the same bowl. But I pulled this off. This is 36 count Cocoa by Weeks Dye Works, and I wanted it, I've stitched on darker linens with these so that the snow and snowflakes show up. But I left this little piece here that I had cut off of this and wanted to show you that another thing I want to be stitching is, you know, I know I've told you this before, but when I have a leftover piece like this that's pretty small that I probably won't do a small on, then I'll go ahead and add to my covered buttons. And I did not add to my covered buttons last year, but remember I've shown you these before. And so I'll show them to you in my next FlossTube with the Merry Christmas spelled out again, like I've shown you before. But this is the perfect little piece of linen that I can get, you know, at least 2 of the larger ones and maybe 3 or 4 of the covered buttons. And what I like to do is just, you know, I can just do some Christmas themes with maybe some of the charts that I've been stitching with. Do, you know, pull something little off of any of these right here and of any of these little charts and just do a little stitch. And so that's what I'm going to do. A little leftover linen is so fun to stitch on and then, you know, show and lay out during the holidays. I keep these in a vintage jar. I'm going to have to get a bigger vintage jar. But sometimes you have a side, and I know I showed you this, but you have a side of linen, a long strip, and you're like, well, that's not big enough to do anything with. And so you just end up getting rid of it. But this is the one that I showed you that I did, my grandpa's and grandma's favorite saying, use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without. When I put grandma and grandpa, and then I just mounted it onto this. I did the hem stitch around it and just put it on this old spool. And I love that. I love things around me that, you know, remind me of my grandparents. They were all just so very important to me. And so those are fun to display together. And so that's another thing I'll be stitching before Christmas comes. So we'll see if I get a couple of covered buttons done. And because I've talked to you about it, that will hold me accountable. And so that will make me want to do 2 or 3 of them and get that done. So in fact, I'll put this over here with the buttons and I'll stitch a couple of those up and show you in a couple of weeks. Okay, so there's that one. I better start making another stack or that tower's going to fall over. Okay. This one I stitched with Gloriana Silks. Aren't they beautiful? This one is by the Scarlet House. This is Coverlet Christmas. And I stitched on 36 count Cafe au Lait by Fiber on a Whim and did the Belle Soie silks. This is Gloriana in the front I just realized that after reading the card. This is Gloriana because I liked this red. Okay, that's Schoolhouse Red. Because you need several different colors of red, a darker and a lighter. And so the rest are the Belsois by Classic Colorworks, I believe. Let me pull through here. Oh, there's another Gloriana. I used Antique Black for the dark in it. And the rest are all the Gloriana. And this one is going to be a pillow. I love that. And just simply put fabric on the back. I don't like to, it's fun to, you know, put a lot of things on the pillows. I may put a little lace here and there, a few buttons or a little rusty bell or something, and a trim here and there. But because I like to put my pillows together in a bowl, I usually put other things in the bowl with them. And so I like just the stitches to show. So I like to just finish simple pillows. And that's fun for me. Okay, so it's really time that I finish this up. I stitched this a couple years ago. And this is my Christmas list by Silver Creek Samplers. And I stitched this on 36 count Milk Cola Wabi Sabi linen by Teresa, the Kitten Stitcher. And I did a DMC conversion. You know, I talk all about that in my last year's Christmas, my year before, sorry, Christmas. Well, let's see. It's number 17. FlossTube episode, I believe, is where I talk about that and talk about my conversion and things like that. But I just love this chart. Now, I was thinking about making a tall pillow out of this for my big pillow basket of Christmas pillows, but I thought it might be kind of fun if I could find a board while I was out shopping to fit it on. And so I found this. This is the right size, and I can easily paint this. Okay, I can just paint this whatever color I want, which probably will end up being red. And then I will just leave this on here because I really like that. But look how perfect that size is. That really is, I mean, let's fold it under there. See, I'll put it sideways so you can see, but so I'll probably just put it on, paint this red, and probably put some kind of, maybe some trim around it, some of my vintage trim, which is rickrack, or maybe a little bit of lace or something, or I don't know, just something to border it around and put it on this board. I think that'll be fun. So I think that's how I'm going to finish that. I was happy to find a little paddle board that would fit it. And so paint is easy, and words, I don't care about what the words are on there or anything. It just all covers with paint, and it's easy peasy. All right. Believe it or not, I'm getting down to the end of that pile. So those are all the things that I have to finish. And then I've got a few whips to show you. So I'm still working on this. This is And Heaven and Nature Sing. Okay, and this is by Kathy Barrick. Love this. So I'll be working on this throughout this month as well. I'll be stitching Christmas until December 31st. And I'm stitching this on 36 count Weathered by Number 12 Stitch Company. And I'm stitching it with the NPI silks for my stash, which I've talked about before. Once again, I like to wind the silks on my floss flowers just to keep them protected. Okay, and so that's what I'm doing with that. And then I'll probably end up framing this one. I'm sure this is a framer. It's big enough, so I'll be doing that. So that's a Christmas whip I've got going on now. Still, let's see, I've got two more. Let me just pull these up here. So this is Dasher and Dancer. You know, I've got this one going on because I invited y'all to stitch with me, and of course I'm still stitching it. Here, let me show you a little close-up before I take it off the design board. And that's as far as I've got on that one. Let me lay it here so I can talk about it a little bit. I am stitching this with, where's the card? I must have kept the card in my bag, but this is Gloriana Silk, and this is Blythe Green. Okay, And this is the chart. And so this is how far I've come. On this side, I've got completely finished except for my initials, which I'll do that at the end with the year over here. And so I've got this side completely done that's in between the two borders. So I think what my next plan of action is I'll be doing this bottom border and bring it all the way across. And then I'll just be able to fill this in. And I love this chart. I love how it's symmetrical, but not symmetrical, meaning, you know, there's a lot of things that are the same, and then there's just a few different things that are different and make it very interesting. But I love using this Blythe green on this linen. And let's see, since I don't have my card there, I can't remember what I'm stitching on unless it's marked here. But to me, oh, here it is. I was going to say it looks a lot like brown sugar. I was right. It's brown sugar. Okay, 36 count. All right, and so I'm continuing that. And I stitched that on the 25th. I picked that up on the 25th of every month, and then I'll usually stitch on it for a day or two. And that's how I'm getting that one done. And then my last whip that I have going is for the Jingle Ball. And here's my little finishing kit. This is by Stacy Nash. And I got my little finishing kit from Blackberry Primitives. And because it's a little, let me turn this way. It's the Gingerbread House Sewing Book. Okay, so this is the front, which I have stitched right here. I'm stitching this on the called for, which is 36 count Ween Beans, and I'm using the mostly called for floss. I changed a few out because my linen I've had for quite a while, and I don't know if my one of my colors, it looks kind of purpley to me, and so I'm using Old Brick for the pink, using the same called for there, the same called for greens, and then I'm using Cayenne. So I guess I just changed those two, and I'm using parchment. Yeah, so I changed parchment for the white too, so that it would show up. Okay, so that's what I'm using there. And so here's the back that I'm stitching, and this is what it looks like in the middle, and that's going to be really fun with that wool in there. I think that'll be great. And so that's what I've got going on. I'm glad I at least got the front finished, and I'll be stitching up the back and getting that finished. I don't think that I'll have it finished in time for the class. I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll see how much time I've got, but I can finish it afterwards. Stacy gave really great instructions. And so this one may not be a finish that I can show you in a couple of weeks. This one may have to be finished, you know, by the end of the year. Okay, so that is everything that I have stitched. And I have given myself a goal to not, this is the one that I said I needed to add in here, to not kit anything else up Christmas until I at least get a couple of these that I already have kitted and one of my finishes done. Okay, so this is my vintage luggage. It's like a vintage hat box piece of luggage. Come on, zipper. I've never had a problem getting the zipper open. There we go. Before, until I'm on camera, right? I want to get it open. All right. So this is Merry Old Soul, which kind of gave you a glance of my Brenda. So I've got that one all kitted. And when I say kitted, it has to have the linen and the threads in here. Oh, this I'll talk to you about last. I just threw that in there. Christy came to visit, and we went to Shepherd's Bush on Halloween, and it was so fun. And I told myself I wasn't going to pick up any Christmas charts there because I knew I had all these kitted. I knew what I had going. But I picked this up. I probably should have asked them to kit it for me while I was there, but I didn't. But I love this. Go Tell It on the Mountain, over the hills and everywhere. It makes me want to sing it right now. And this is by Beth, Heartstring Samplery. And so I probably will be kitting this up just to put here so that I have it. But, you know, I'm going to try to pick up 2 or 3 of these and get them stitched. There's some that are bigger than others, some that won't take so long. These won't take so long. These I've got kitted, and I'm going to do them at the same time. You know, I'm a big fan of Lori at Not Forgotten Farm. And this is Merriest Yuletide and Good Cheer. And so I want to stitch them at the same time, so they kind of match. And All Joys for Thine, I've got that kitted. And I don't have any of these out of the bags because, you know, because I don't want them to get lost from their kit. But that is by Blackbird Designs. I've had this kitted for a long time. Need to just get started on it. This one will definitely be a framed one. You know, so I've got some that will be framed, got some that will just be pillows. So I'll probably pick like a large, medium, and small and go from there. This one is Comfort and Joy right here, and by Paulette. And I love this. I love this Christmas goose up here. I love this house. I love like this stone house. There's a house in Harriman where I grew up that looks almost identical to this house, so that's what really drew me to that. So I've got that. And this one, I mean, it's ridiculous. I have like 3 different linens in here to choose from and all the flosses, and I just have not started it. And this is the Noel Sampler by Brenda Gervais, and that one will be framed as well. Here's another one by Brenda. Okay, I've got it all kitted. And this is Santa Stops Here. Love that one. This one, I hope I'm going to turn this so that at one point it's not glaring, hopefully, so I don't have to take them all out of the bag. But this is a Merry Christmas Sampler by Lottie Da. But look how beautiful that is. I really just need to get that stitched. And this is maybe one I'll pick because it's a little bit smaller. Here's another one that's really small that I have kitted. And this is Be Merry by Mojo Stitches. I love this. I love all those little trees in green, and then a little bit of white, and then just Merry in red. And then this one is Bells of Christmas by With Thy Needle and Thread. And I have everything, you know, the chart and everything to finish that. And the threads. So those are my, you know, I've got some marching orders. And so I want to start 3 of those, but I can't, I don't know. Maybe I just don't know when I'm going to do that because I've got those other whips that I just told you about. So we'll see. You know, it's not a race. That's why I like to keep everything all organized in here so that when I finish one, I can start another and I know where to find them and they're all ready to go and I can just pick it up. Or when one of my stitchy friends, you know, says, let's start this. And that's usually Christy because we stitch so much of the same things. And she'll say, I'm going to start this. Are you ready to start it? Because she knows, you know, a lot of what I have kitted up. And I'll be like, yeah, it's so easy to grab it and start it. So that's my goal for that. Thank you so much for listening as I ramble on about my stitching and for holding me accountable for getting these things finished. And so I'm going to be working on them in the next week or so. And when they're all finished, I'll do another FlossTube and show you my little finish parade. And so again, I'm wishing you all happy stitching, happy weather, happy holidays, and all of that fun stuff. And I'll chat with you later.